soup, soup. Let's start the show.
Neverdaily time.
That's it. That's all the time.
Did you hear that right after I said Neverdaily time?
Boop, boop.
Yeah,
So like
that
a
was my
little ghost.
stomach. You know
A
what that
ghost in your
reminds me
stomach.
of is I was looking into something and I thought I'd bring a little bit of knowledge for all the weirdos here. I was like, I wonder if there's any new Bigfoot sightings. And so I went to YouTube, typed Bigfoot sighting, sorted by date. You sift through 30 dumb things and some rehashes and somebody trying to make a new video out of old content
Mm-hmm.
and 20 plus AI videos.
Yeah.
And then I actually came across a couple. Hard to say whether or not they're AI anymore because now AI can create that bad camera look, so it's
Yeah.
really kind of hard to tell. But
And that also helps cover up the imperfections of AI.
yeah, because it's very clean oftentimes. Which, yes, they're getting so much better with that too. Flaws aplenty now. But it got me thinking, I'm like, where do you go if you want to, like, make it a weekend kind of thing or, like, co-mingle with Bigfoot people? Not Bigfoot, but anyone that's telling you, hey, join our club, you'll hang out with Bigfoot, probably avoid. But if you wanted to hang out with people that are like looking for Bigfoot and stuff, where would you go? And so the 1,000-pound gorilla, I would say, no pun intended, of all of the organizations is BFRO, Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. And at first I was like, isn't that BFF? Because Bigfoot Field, and it's not. Bigfoot's one word, just in case, so we're all on the same grammatical page. And so I was like, okay, cool, sweet. So, how can you join? So they have chapters of BFRO all over the United States. I was like, cool, join. How to join? You go to the how to join the BFRO. Membership in the BFRO is by invitation. Invitation happens after a person meets existing BFRO members who will recommend the person for membership. You can meet BFRO members by attending a BFRO expedition. So you go to the BFRO webpage and you look up when is the next expedition. And believe it or not, by the way, this website's horrible. It's like
Black and white almost.
It's HTML. It's just HTML. They've got animated GIFs. The logo for the website sits there and it just says BFRO, Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. But when you hover over it, it triggers an animated GIF of a Bigfoot foot and then morphs back into the BFRO logo. Like it's old school. And I think they're proud of it. I would be, trying to maintain.
They don't even have like a legit Gmail. It's just at gmail.com. It's not like at their website.com.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see.
So it's not even, so like I just Googled BFRO and it says contact us at contact.bfro@gmail.com. It's not even at like their website or whatever. So it's just like the most.
Well, okay. And here's another thing.
Have.
Here's another thing. BFRO.com. If you go to BFRO.com, that's Bible knowledge.
Yeah. You need .net, bro.
It's .net, which makes it even more OG website. Like if the only way it could get more OG is if it was like BFRO.geocities.com. I mean like Lycos, something old. Like the only way you can find BFRO is through Ask Jeeves. But I love this website. It's horribly put together, but I've got to imagine, I can picture the guy that runs this site. He's got the Barca Lounger recliner, and he's bought that tray that you can attach to the side of a lounge chair. and he's got his laptops and everything on the tray in front of him. And he's, he pours a Mountain Dew at 8 a.m., gets on, cracks his knuckles like this, and then he starts adjusting some HTML.
So far, my favorite thing I've seen on this website, I've just been clicking around, is like there's like a hand-drawn drawing of a Bigfoot that looks like a 4-year-old did it.
The woman with the boobs.
With the big old boobs. Yeah, like
Yeah.
as big as the head is.
Yeah, it's
And it's
impressive.
just like, okay, that's definitely a teenage, I'd say a 13-year-old boy drew that. And he used it for personal things before he handed it over to the BFRO.
Before he scanned it on his mom's scanner.
Yeah.
To upload it. I'm not even knocking the webs. Like, I'm impressed. I really am. And here's how much they don't care. Which again, also, if you hover over the nav on the side, like half of the buttons like stay hovered and like it seems broken. One thing I love is when you click on join the BFRO, the list of expeditions on the expeditions page is up to date, but on the how to join page, the BFRO hosts expeditions in the US and Canada, which are open to non-members. These expeditions usually last 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. You can participate if you're able to camp in the woods for a few days. See the locations and dates on the 2021 expedition scheduling page. So, like, it's that don't care. It's like, you're going to show up, you're going to like us. We don't have to mess with our site very much. If you're going to join, you're going to join. Here's the other thing. I love this. Florida, the next expedition, full. You can't even go. You can't go to it. It's full. So Lori Wade and Jeff Prowse are going to be there. They're leading this one. It's two-wheel drive.
Yeah, two-wheel drive okay. Trailers okay.
Trailers are okay. And yeah, you go down the list and it tells you whether or not what's going on, and it's a long list. One thing I'm interested that seems very interesting, and I'll bet you there's some drama behind this. I'm inventing the drama, but I've got to imagine there's drama. Idaho is not listed as anywhere on here. You can't, there aren't chapters that I can find on the map of expeditions. Idaho's not listed. There are no expeditions in Idaho. I want to get to the bottom of that, but right now I'm just basking in the animated GIF glory of this website.
Apparently there's a standing expedition in Oregon, July 9th. Well, I guess it's sometime in July, because I guess the dates would change. Mid-July is when the Oregon one is.
What is a standing expedition?
Like, they have it every July. They go out on this on their 4-day expedition in Oregon.
Okay.
So they just have it. They're just like, we're gonna do this on a weekend in July, every year.
That's so impressive. I love passively and quietly. Like, it doesn't make the Neverdaily very often, but I enjoy a good update on Bigfoot sightings and stuff. It's been a little while since I've seen something where I'm like, okay, I'm going to lock that one away as that's wild instead of, yeah, that's probably fake. It's been a little while.
The crazy thing is, okay, I just want to point this out. I was expecting some like white bearded, weird looking dude in, military surplus gear.
Yeah.
The lady who runs the Oregon expedition, she is a lady, and she actually has a bachelor's degree in anthropology.
Okay. See, now that was another thing I was going to say is we're not talking, this isn't like going to the sub-chapter local fan club for Star Trek followers at the local Hobbytown, USA. This is, there are some serious people that are part of this,
So like she focused on Native American legends related to Sasquatch and Bigfoots in her studies in her bachelorette studies.
Yeah. The other thing is folklore lore like Bigfoot is, it's relegated to if you were in the sciences and you did spend too much time in this, you wouldn't be taken as credible, right?
Yeah.
But the list of cryptids that have come off the list of cryptids and actually are real things, it gets shortened all the time. You
Mhm.
know, I'm not saying Bigfoot like is going to end up being a legit thing tomorrow, but everybody knows my stance on it. I think he's Kane, so he's still around, you know? So,
Which you would think with that there should be like a thriving chapter in Utah, but there's not.
yeah, you would think. Idaho too. So I'm going to get to the bottom of that. There's got to be some drama. I'll bet money that Idaho for sure has to have some kind of like competing chapter, some competing organization where they just,
Mm-hmm.
BFRO doesn't have a stake in the
Yeah.
state for some reason. It's too big. It's also too northwest for it not to be, nuts deep in Bigfoot
Mm-hmm.
people. So some of the best stuff that we've heard has come out of Idaho. The high mountain calls, the audio calls, the stories of the guy in the mountains hunting, and his horse wouldn't his donkey horse wouldn't come down out of the high mountains after hearing the calls for like a couple of days.
It's probably a mule because horses are dumb,
Yeah, probably was a
and
mule.
mules are actually really smart.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm typing to my son. His birthday's today, so.
Oh, his almost has the same cool birthday as me.
Yep. We didn't say that on the show. Chase's birthday was yesterday. And if you're a purveyor of the Neverdaily goods on Facebook, we shouted him out there. And I asked him when we started, just before we started recording, I said, hey, did you see my happy birthday? And Chase said he hadn't been on Facebook in months. So
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad because I didn't text you directly either. I just put it on Facebook thinking, well, he'll see this. So
I'll see it eventually someday when I get on social media again.
I didn't forget you.
Oh, and I just caught this. Yes, Liz Alley passed me the message. Thank you.
Yeah. There's been a handful of. Did you get my screen grab from the other day? Somebody asked what's going on with Almost Fiction, when's the next round and stuff.
Yeah, and I haven't answered because it's just maybe next Tuesday. I'll tell. It's been a lot going on in Chase's life.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot going on in Chase's life. So maybe next episode it might be appropriate to say what's been going on.
Okay. Anything you want to talk about on the show? Like, how's that rash? Clearing up?
My rash, actually, I do have a rash, but that's different.
Wow.
You can kind of see it right there. But so thanks for calling me out.
Sorry.
And making me show everyone. I guess I didn't have to show everyone. That was my choice. So
yeah.
But the rash is fine. It's just some eczema.
Okay.
Just some eczema. Just I was born with it. Just something I have to deal with for the rest of my life. The eczema.
Well, I have a couple stories from This Is True.
Oh, I love our friends at thisistrue.com.
This Is True. Yeah. They're great. And they're like, hey, thanks for sharing our stories all the time. Here's some more. They said never.
And then one day they'll realize that we've been standing behind their bathroom door for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Just watching what they're doing.
Or they'll be like, hey, you're stealing our content. Well, I give them credit every time. So
it's true.
Hopefully there's been some more people that join the This Is True newsletter. Because if we're talking OG stuff, the This Is True people are OG. It's like, when you go to a little diner and they got that Nickel magazine, the Nickel Express or whatever, and it's like all local. Like you can get on there and buy a spring tooth ag, plow share thing from some local guy. Yeah, This Is True is that OG. Like their newsletter's been around for ages, like into the knees, I want to say.
Back when it was all email based, pretty much.
Yeah, well, and that's really That's what there are a handful of books. Like you can go on Amazon and buy this. This is true compendiums. But the way they feed their stuff is just there's a website, but it's limited compared to the newsletter. And then there's also the premium newsletter. So this is true premium where you get longer stories, more of them. So shout out to them. Anyway, here's a couple.
Not a sponsor.
No, not at all. Not at all. Here we go. A thirst for trouble. Officers were called to a state-run liquor store in Ashland, Virginia, on a report of a burglar who'd apparently broken in before opening time and had drunk enough booze that he was still there, passed out on the restroom floor. Employees arrived to find an absolute mess. Quote, Officer Martin safely secured our masked bandit, the agency said, and transported him to the shelter to sober up before questioning. Wait, what agency is this? A shelter? The Hanover County Animal Protection and Shelter, to be exact. Of course, the masked bandit is a raccoon. It smashed 14 bottles of liquor valued at around $250 and was released back to the wild once it was sober. Investigators said the suspect issues with impulse control were indistinguishable from the human variety. Oh, that's funny. He just passed him onto a shelter, let him dry out.
I'm fine. I do this all the time. It's okay. I'll be fine in the morning.
Golly, raccoons these days. Our pets' heads are falling off.
At least it wasn't a cocaine bear.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one. I haven't seen it yet, but I can't wait. There's another movie called Bears on a Boat. And it's like a shipping container boat. You know, it's like a large boat and there's bears on it. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited. Just waiting to get my hands on it. So I'll let you guys know how Bears on a Boat is once I see it. Here's another one. Trying to help. Just trying to help. A man found an injured raccoon. Hey, another raccoon in Cherokee County, Georgia. Instead of calling anyone, he picked up the animal, put it in his coat, and drove to the Chattahoochee Nature Center, over an hour away. Unsurprisingly, the raccoon bit the man, so he wrapped it in a blanket with duct tape. He arrived an hour before the center's clinic opened, but the camp director was able to radio someone to meet him with a kennel. He then went to a hospital. The raccoon was euthanized.
Ooh.
Jeez.
They made him younger?
Yep, that's what that means. Quote, fewer than 48 hours later, we were informed the raccoon had tested positive for rabies, the center said on social media. Quote, please note, we're not licensed for raccoon rehabilitation and can only accept raptors, reptiles, and amphibians. This information is on our website, voicemail, Facebook page, and clinic door. It's best to use your brain when acting from the heart.
Yeah.
Golly. That's a thing. Let's see, do I have another raccoon here? No, this one does have a character in it, this next one. Squeezing out the very last cent on orders from President Trump, the U.S. Mint has now ended production of the penny, which cost just under 4 cents each to make, only to be tossed into a jar. The last few pennies to be minted will be auctioned off, actually, though there was no mention of what the auction proceeds will be spent on. There are billions of pennies in circulation, and they'll remain legal tender. The last time the U.S. discontinued a coin was 168 years ago, before the demise of the penny. What coin? The half penny. Without either of these coins, how are writers ever to be paid? Podcasters too. It does make you wonder, because it's built into our monetary system now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you do that? Like, if you don't have a denomination that equates to what you're selling something for, ultimately, eventually they'd have to evolve, right? So you couldn't have $2.92 at the gas pump anymore. It'd have to be at least just $2.95 or $2.90.
They'll just always round it and make it look they'll try to just play those mind games with you. It's kind of like things. It's like you never see anything that's $2. It's always $1.99.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You couldn't sell something for $1.99 anymore.
They'll do it and then they'll just round. They'll just, you know what I mean? Like they'll just like, well, it's $2.92. We're gonna round you up to $2.95, and they'll always round you up.
Well, as long as I guess what I'm saying is as long as the price tag rounds up or down, because they can't say it's $2.92 and then you don't have legal tender to pay for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They can't. That's a lawsuit. They're like, well, we realize you can't pay $2.92, so we're just going to charge you $2.90. Imagine the accounting nightmare that is too. You know, everything in a dollar store is a cent denomination. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble. Either for a while, we're going to have a problem on our hands. It's not. It's going to phase out slowly. I'm sure. Just like white.
Oh, I like that. I missed it.
Okay, I got one more for you.
Okay.
Got one more. Old man yells at town. The unnamed man is at least 60 years old, and he's been told that the town of Mihama, Japan, isn't empowered to do what he wants it to do, which also isn't clear, but seems to be about giving him subsidies to make his buildings more resistant to earthquakes or something like that. But he refuses to take no for an answer. He reached out to the town more than 800 times by mail or phone over just a 7-month period, on top of which he went to the town hall in person nearly every day. He would argue with employees, sometimes for as much as an hour. He'd insult them. He would specify that he needed to speak to a supervisor, or specifically, he would say, or to a woman. After 5 years, Mahama passed a resolution authorizing lawsuits against people who complain too much. I'm for that. Once it was announced they were drafting such a suit, the man stopped. Threatening a lawsuit can often stop someone who's in the wrong, but it can also often stop someone who's in the right, which we don't know what this man is because he doesn't know what he...
Because he cray.
Gosh.
That's the hard thing about crazy is there's no reasoning with it. There's no talking to it.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. And
it's funny when you look back, when you see someone in like entertainment or media or news or communications that is absolutely hot and bothered about something, and we all laugh at them, and then we find out they were right, but also the thing is so wild that we just kind of keep laughing at them. You know, like they're turning our frogs gay. And everybody's like, what? And then it turns out it's true that, you know, what's weird about that is he was reading scientific publications and seeing research that they were doing. But the way he says it is just they're turning our frogs gay, and then we all laugh. Or Dennis Prager, who was on the Bill Maher show, and this tells you how quickly things have changed. He brings up the topic. He's like, you know, men trying to use women's bathrooms, and they all went, what? I mean, this is a very popular clip. You can go and find it. And the audience laughed at him, and Bill Maher laughed at it. The whole table laughed at him. And he's like, what? This is happening. No, it's not. And then,
oops, it happened.
But, you know, he's so far forward in this. He's such the scout team, but he's the scout team's scout team on the topic. And crazy.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, it happened at the community center where I live not too long ago.
Oh, yeah?
Some random dude just walked into the changing room, and he stripped down naked and was walking around little kids and stuff. And then when they try to kick him out, he's just like, identify as a woman. You can't do that. And he was like, just like a 40-year-old dude. Yeah, 40-year-old, like wasn't trying to, you know, even appear as anything else than a dude. And he's just walking around the women's locker room butt-ass naked.
So let's just say there's three people. There's three dudes. One is, he's making the affirmation that he's a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes into the women's bathroom. Depending on where you live, they're either going to rewrite the rules really quick, or they're going to say, okay, we haven't dealt with this yet. We're going to take it seriously. We're going to address this. How can we be more accepting? And, they'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you've got the guy that is a super perv, right?
Mm-hmm.
And goes into a women's restroom. And
like what happened here.
It's funny, the way that we address it is different, right? Because let's just say he doesn't affirm that he's a woman or anything like that. And, oh, by the way, all three look the same, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't affirm he's a woman. He doesn't get the same treatment. Actually, he gets a criminal treatment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third guy walks in and they say, what are you doing? And he says, well, I'm affirming I'm a woman. And they say, well, you don't look like it. You're not doing anything to make that apparent. And he's like, I'm also making a statement. He gets treated like a criminal. I give up. I give up.
Yeah.
Oh man. Want to do speaking of this is wild. My arms are over my head. If you're just listening, my hands are on my head right now.
And you're breathing normally, which goes to show how much your weight loss journey is continuing.
Yeah, because you're right. If my hands went over my head like this 60 pounds ago, I'd have exactly 7 minutes before lights out.
It's called the manual reset.
Speaking of that, though, this is wild. So this influencer made a discovery
There's
that
a first for everything, I guess.
So when you're really digging in with the algorithm and stuff anymore on social media, you start A/B testing stuff. So you'll take the same content and adjust it slightly. Maybe it's a different font, or maybe you're using video instead of imagery. Whatever. You're creating the same content in two different fashions, though, and you're putting them both out there to see which one the algorithm likes more. And she discovered that the same content she puts out gets exponentially more visibility, which the discovery I've made is it doesn't matter how many followers you have, the algorithm's either going to pick you up and mainstream you or not. And that's a big thing that a lot of people don't understand. We have 1,001 followers on TikTok. It doesn't matter because I could post something today and it'll get 24,000 views because the algorithm liked it.
Yeah.
And the way it works is within an hour whether or not the algorithm likes you, right? This gal figured this out, though. She's not unattractive, but she's also not she's not like, how to get my boobs and my forehead in the shot at the same time. She's not one of those types. It's normal content, but, sitting at a desk, she realized she gets X the views if when she starts her video, she simply raises her arms like this, like shows her armpits. She explained it as, if I show my armpits, I get 10 times the views on the same content. And she's consistent. She shows it. She's like, here's an example. Here's an example. And it's like, wow.
Why do you think everyone's filming their stupid little videos sitting in their cars? Because that's what the algorithm was rewarding for a while.
Yeah.
Is if you're sitting in a car and you do your spiel versus sitting anywhere else, at a desk, sitting on the turlet, whatever. If you were sitting in a car, it was pushing your content more. Just for sitting in a car.
The algorithm's wild. It's like, well, if we want to lean more toward this just in kind of stuff, then it's like, okay, well, it can't look staged all the time. It's got to look like you were making macaroni and then you found out about a 600-pound woman, and you're going to do a expose on it right now, So yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Who knew? Armpits and algorithms.
Sorry, everyone. I'm going to do the rest of our podcast with my
I'm just going to.
On my head.
There's a comedian that I totally love, and it's actually become kind of part of his shtick, where like he'll be talking and then he'll just be like, I don't know, no, and he'll put his hands on his head. It's hilarious, but it's funny when he does it. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I think we are disarmed by someone who puts their hands on their head. It's weird. Anyway, should we do new music Tuesday on Thursday?
Yes.
For the algorithms, speaking of the algorithms, we will now be doing New Music Tuesday on Thursday as a review, a strict review of music which we like.
Review.
In no way, portion, or fashion is this considered a copyright claim on the music itself.
Yes. This is for review purposes and educational purposes as well.
We were talking about it
Review.
before we started recording.
Educational. Maybe if we just put those words in there, the AI will understand. Review, educational purposes, music. There we go.
I think it's the labels that are like, we're not making any money. How do we do this?
How do you? What's that? What is that? It's one of the Tim Robinson clips. I gotta find a way to make money off of this.
Yeah. But yeah, it's become I'm no longer just a podcaster. I'm a lawyer for around half an hour a day while I dispute all of our copyright claims.
Let's just be honest. You're using an AI to combat their AI.
Pretty much.
It's
yeah.
just
And my AI
worse.
wins. Well, that's the other thing that's weird about it. My AI wins every single time. You'd think that there'd be an AI in the middle somewhere that's like, hey, this guy consistently is reviewing music, not stealing it. Yeah. So you'd think that there'd be one in the middle that's like, hey, let's save everybody some time. I know you want to do a copyright strike, but he's actually, the whole channel's legit. You'd think that there would be that, but it's not. Here's a crazy one. There's a guy who has a channel and he reviews guitar, a lot of guitar stuff, a lot of music and everything. He will get a copyright strike. He'll have Maynard James Keenan on the lead singer of Tool, on his show. They'll play a Tool song, like a snippet of a Tool song on the episode. He'll get a copyright strike.
Yeah.
He did a whole video. He's like, this is ridiculous.
And it's like, I'm literally talking to the owner of the copyright, the creator on my podcast.
Yeah, Kevin's been dealing with it. Like the intro song he deals with the intro song. He got permission from the creator to use it. And he's been battling YouTube over copyright strikes on it. It's crazy.
They don't care about permissions.
It's unbelievable.
They care about money.
Anyway, so we're going to review a couple of songs. Okay, so last time we talked, I imposed, and I don't know if we both landed. I said I was going to bring something from kind of the more fringe of my listening. The best way for me to do it is I go to my liked songs and I rewind as far back as it'll let me go. And I start looking for ones where I'm like, I did like that. Oh, I haven't listened to that one forever. What the heck? So this one, I won't say this is like a forgotten song, but I brought something that was an early OG. And OG, it's 2015 when I put it on my playlist. But how'd you fare? We could play yours first.
So you tasked me to bring something that wasn't emo, and I believe I did that.
Did you?
So I will say though, I do have one of his albums, and it's on display behind me. You can't read that. I brought some Modest Yahoo. If you don't know who Modest Yahoo is, he is a rap artist, and he's also Jewish. And so I checked, and you cannot be emo and Jewish at the same time legally in the lower 48.
Can you be a rap artist and Jewish?
Yes, because he does it successfully, and he has not been arrested, at least for that, so that I know of. So yeah, this just some non-emo music. Get a little. It's a very upbeat, positive song. I really like it a lot. Just some good music.
All right, Modest Yahoo. The song's called One Day.
One Day.
All right. Here we go.
I stole your line.
I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will pay. One day, one day, one day, it's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they bleed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze, you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will pay. One day, one day, one day this all will change. Treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like one day, one day, all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one
That is One Day by Modest Yahoo.
Kind of had a Dirty Heads kind of a vibe.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
Dirty
he's
Heads?
known. He does a lot of like a lot of his music is more like reggae influenced and leaning. But yeah, he's super nice guy. One of my buddies got to meet him at a show one time, and like he used to be. He's not as much anymore, but he used to be like straight up Orthodox. Like he would have like the full beard, the curls, like the hat, like everything, and he would just rap on stage with that. He's not as Orthodox as he used to be anymore, but he's still just a chill dude. Super nice guy. Just Matis Yahoo.
Have you ever? There's a Jewish rap battler. Trying to remember.
I haven't. I probably haven't heard of him. I'm gonna say I haven't heard of him.
Well, that's funny. If you Google who is the most famous Jewish rap battler,
Mm-hmm.
it says Drake.
Drake. Or not.
Soul Khan. That's who I was thinking. Soul Khan. Man, you gotta, if you've never watched rap battles, it's legit. Rap battles are amazing. They're amazing. And these guys, I don't know how their brains work so fast, but like Soul Khan is worth watching. Check him out sometime.
And that's spelled Soulkhan.
Yeah. And he's actually retired now, but there's metric ton of videos of Soul Khan rap battling.
Dude, he's one of those guys that he looks like a nerd, but also you're like, I can see that nerd going hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the And One street ball competitions that they used to have, and like some white kid would show up and
The professor, dude.
yeah, yes,
And he's still balling.
yeah,
Like, he's a YouTube celebrity now. But
it's
yeah,
crazy.
you get like, oh man, I used to, when I was a kid, like I was way into basketball, and yeah, like, and it was during And One mixtape when it first came out. And oh my gosh, like all the white boys were like, the professor. And he just looks like the nerdiest white boy, like skinny. Like he just looks like, yeah, the nerd. Like he works at a gas station kind of person that like runs the graveyard shift.
Yeah,
But then he gets out there and just cooks dudes left and right.
it's, I don't know. I enjoy it when something that you don't expect shows up on the court or on the stage. You know, I love that.
Yeah. So what song did you bring today?
I brought a song. It's
like
by Novo Amor, and Ed Tullett is on this one too. But Novo Amor, it's like, if you've never heard Novo Amor, what you're about to hear is quintessential Novo Amor. Let's see, I hate it because I always get where they're from.
Novo Amor.
Ali John Meredith Lacey, better known under his stage name Novo Amor, is a Welsh multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter, sound designer, and producer.
He's from Welshland.
Yeah. And if just for more randomness, Lacey rose to prominence after the release of his debut EP, Woodgate, New York. So, okay. No, but I really like the song. And I'll play it. Here we go.
Covered in everything, covered it all at once. Everything covering everything all at once. But I would fake, I would hate, I would break every
That was Alps by Novo Amor. Very, very Norwegian vibe.
Mhm.
In other songs, when he's like, when you can hear him singing a little better, I swear he's from one of the Norse countries. Ed Tollett is another one in that vibe. Also, a little bit of Justin Vernon,
Liz says very Bon Iver.
Bon Iver, yeah.
Bon
Yeah.
Iver.
Justin
Bon
Vernon's
Iver.
the lead singer of Bon Iver. So, yeah. Anyway, I liked it. Video's kind of weird.
The video is kind of weird. A
He's
lot of shooting arrows and angels shooting people in the chest with a bow and
yeah. Yeah, I was
pasty
like,
white women wandering through snow fields.
I get very pragmatic when I see video like that. I'm like, well, that's a lot of arrows wasted. Also, like orc size arrows. They're
Yeah.
someone's hucking at this lady who's like running into the snowy Alps into it. I'd probably be like, she won't survive. I'd save
I
my
would've-
arrows, but
I would have
apparently,
taken my chances watching the grip that guy had on his bow. I would have taken my chances.
yeah.
I'm surprised he hit anything. Let's be honest.
Surprised he's an angel with a bow. Like,
Yeah.
I think heaven would have a little better training program.
Well, he'd probably at least have like a Glock 19.
Yeah. Heaven has Glocks.
Yep. That is the official gun of heaven, actually.
Yep.
Sponsored by Glock.
I every once in a while, like I keep an Apple note of like merch I'd like to make,
Mhm.
and then I never do anything with it because most of the time I second guess myself and I'm like, no one would buy that. But I
It's
came
like
up
all
with
my screenshots on my phone of
Yeah.
things I'm going to buy in the future, and then I never look at it again. Yeah.
exactly. Bookmarking apps are invented for people like you and I. Like Pinterest was built for
Mhm.
us. Came up with one the other day though. Pompeii Fun Run. It's in the dark. Well, that'd be kind of a fun shirt. I had another one that I wanted to do a while back. It was the annual. It's a annual 1K run. Let's not overdo it. Oh gosh, sometimes I laugh.
Sometimes.
I mentioned Dr. Mutter on the last episode, and it conjured up a shirt that I wanted to make back in the day because when he was creating his methods for plastic surgery, which became he's the OG of plastic surgery, but he was practicing medicine in a time when everyone was like, you're silly, you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no way this stuff,
They're the kind of germs aren't real.
yeah, exactly. But there's an entire university, which back then, if you had a medical university, it wasn't usually just a university. It was the influence of your university was felt far and wide into other
Mhm.
medical universities. And this was the case with the University of Paris Medical School back
Mhm.
then. They didn't believe that blood circulated through your body. This is the 1600s. So they didn't
Yeah, but
connect
have they never seen a stagnant pond?
have they never seen a dude lose his head?
Yeah.
Like, how much of a connection does it take to go, I feel a heart beating? And we know the heartbeat, I mean, that's been something we've known since primitive times, but that you cut a certain vein or artery. And anyway, the University of Paris Medical School tried to like ruin his life, Dr. Mutter's life, because they didn't believe that what he was practicing. And a lot of it had to do with things like transfusions and, like, hey, we can fix some stuff. They were literally anti-blood circulation. They had whole papers on this crackpot new anti-science scheme called blood circulation. They just believed in spirit juice.
Yeah. You're sick because you have too much blood, actually. Let's let some out.
Yeah. So I thought of making a University of Paris Medical School Anti-Blood Circulation Academy shirt. And it just says like spirit juice only, 1600.
Yeah.
But I'd be the only one to wear it because no one else would know. What's up?
It's one of those things where it's like, there's a time when trusting doctors only got you killed.
Yeah. Well, that time's always, it
Till
seems. Like,
today.
we're always learning, right? I mean, it wasn't very long ago that the big bump in the road was the opioid crisis, and we found
Yeah.
out all of our doctors were on the
On the
get.
take.
Yeah. I mean, that just happened.
Yeah, that's actually when my wife went to dental hygiene school, because she was in a bachelor's program, so she had to learn about, like prescribing medications and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they actually the teacher made them read the book by the dude who like blew that open, the guy whose kid OD'd on opioids, and then he made it his mission to, fight against, like he's the one who blew open like that people were getting, you know, the doctors were getting paid the more prescriptions they were writing, right?
Yeah.
And so he's the dude who found that out. And so she had to read that book. And yeah, just hearing that, like, if you just want to read a book where you're just like, what the hell? Like, if you trust the medical profession at all, just read that book. Like, read 2 chapters of that book and you'll be like, I don't want to go to the doctor ever again. They're
Yeah,
just
it
going to
can,
kill me and take the $20 that they're.
it can be a little weird. We tend to have a maybe rightly so, a little bit more of an intense opinion about professions where lives are on the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody's life is on the line on a pot, because we're podcasters. But
Well, it depends. Lots of people's lives are on the line on the 911 podcast.
That's true. That's true. It's true. What? Hey, Chase.
Hi.
What did you bring today?
I brought something that we both can kind of commiserate with. So, have you ever gotten any bad reviews?
I am Satan incarnate, according to my bad reviews.
So, this episode's going to make you feel better. No matter what you've said, no matter how you've responded to people, it has never been as bad as this. Let's put
Okay.
it that way. So, these are crazy reactions to negative reviews. Okay? So, this is
Okay.
like the reviewer is getting hunted down after the fact.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so this is a little justice. You might feel a little justified in some of these reactions. Who knows? Because, like, most folks, when they get a bad review, they might get a little hurt or really butt hurt, like I do. Some people complain to their spouse about it, really dive into the misery, maybe eat some ice cream, and then they move on with their lives like normal human beings, because that's what normal human beings do. But some people, they can't let go, and they lose their damn minds. So, like, I got one the other day. It pissed me off a lot. I'm just gonna say it. They accused me of buying my reviews. I bought all 106 of those bad boys. I paid dearly for
Yeah.
them.
It was wasn't it the one that was like, I don't understand how all these people think this show's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, cause I don't know if it's still true, but I know that I had a 5.0 star rating on Apple Podcasts, like going into triple digit reviews, and I was just like, I like that, which is actually really good. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but to have a 5.0 star average
Oh, yeah.
even over a smaller sample size is ridiculous, right?
Sure.
But I mean, then he accused, like, you must have a lot of friends and family if he didn't pay for them. It's just like, oh my gosh, just understand, sir, that people can like things that you don't like. It's the weirdest thing in the world. But if we all like the exact same things, you know how boring this world would be? Like,
Can I read you? Like, this was a new creativity. It's like,
yeah.
I'm doing too much review. This one says, I got a 1 star on January 15th. I used to really enjoy this podcast, but now Op spends way too much time on storytelling, background, and foreshadowing. Like a 1 star because I do my research.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you?
And it's funny because, like, some people, and the guy who tried to accuse me of buying my reviews, they think they're the kind of person, every time I hear people like that talk, I picture my cousin. I'm not going to say which one, because they are like the exact same, where they think that if they sound smart in the review that people are going to believe them more about it. So they start using pontificating, using big words like pontificating,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they're trying to come across as very smart and knowledgeable, but they just sound like idiots.
Yeah.
Because they don't really know how to talk that way in everyday life. So yeah, just a bunch of garbage. So now that we've commiserated, we'll go into some of these revenge stories, we'll put it that way. So,
Okay.
Richard Britton. I don't know if you've ever heard of Richard Britton. He was an author. He wrote a novel called The World Rose. And apparently he thought it was the greatest book since the Bible,
Oh.
according to him.
Okay.
He literally is out, like, comparing himself. Like, this is him talking about himself. He compares himself and his works to Dickens, Shakespeare, and even Stephanie Meyer's.
Whoa.
I put that last
on.
one in. I know. That's like too much, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know about you, but when someone compares their own work to Shakespeare and Dickens, it's usually a red flag that their book's probably not that good. Like, let's be honest. If they're comparing themselves, they're not winning any Nobel Prize in literature.
Yeah.
So this wonderful woman named Paige Rowland, she reads a few pages of this guy's book, and so she has two jobs, but at night she moonlights as, she reviews books. And she has, apparently a lot of people listen to her. She's got a little cult following, and she just reviews books, has a day job. And she basically said, and I'm not quoting, this is not a direct quote, she said that his book was boring as shit. She said it way more politely and eloquently, because that's what she does. Paige then writes this long review about just tearing this book apart. She doesn't like the cover art, the price point, the plot. Like, it's basically just everything about this book is like trash. Like, the person thought they're really smart, they're not. They put out this book that's not good. She even starts going after Britton himself personally, which is how bad he seems like a very arrogant person. And so she's just kind of like pointing that out. And so she's just like, basically, this book sucks. The author sucks. He's kind of rude. He thinks highly of himself. Like, it's not even worth your time. So Britton, the author, he doesn't just get mad at the review. He goes full detective mode. And using Facebook, he actually tracks down Paige Rowland, where she lives and where she works. Gets in his car and travels over 400 miles to confront her. Okay? Captain Psycho even shows up at the grocery store where Paige works her day job, grabs a wine bottle like he's shopping for dinner, and then starts following her through the aisles as she's doing her job. Like, she's literally just going around taking inventory or whatever, checking the store, and suddenly an angry novelist appears out of nowhere and smashes a wine bottle over her head.
Whoa.
Knocks her out right in the cereal aisle. She goes down, and security cameras capture the whole thing. So next thing you know, the best author ever in the history of the world is being arrested for assaulting a woman with a wine bottle in a grocery store.
Mm.
He got 30 months in prison, all because someone said his book sucked.
I wonder if his sales went up.
Probably. Everyone's like, I gotta read this book now. So that's the first one. And neither of us have done that yet.
No.
So we can still feel better about ourselves. Here's another question. You ever get mad at a restaurant or maybe a pizza chain for getting your order wrong?
Yeah. I believe it's been videoed before.
Oh, okay. Well, luckily for you, you're not the only one. So now we have Marisol Samos. That's this lady's name. She owns a restaurant called Mambo Nuevo Latino.
Okay.
So a customer named Elena Katz orders jambalaya, because that's Spanish. She orders jambalaya from this place, and she's like, I don't want no olives in it. She didn't say it like that. She said it more better because I'm uneducated.
More better.
Simple enough, right? Like, you order something. We all do it. Like, sometimes I'm just like, hey, I don't want no tomatoes on my stuff. And they're like, okay, thank you, sir. Some people are like, I don't want onions on my hamburger. And people are like, okay, I'll take the onions off for you. She's like, I don't want olives in my jambalaya. So they're like, okay. But when the jambalaya comes out, full of olives. Like, an insane amount of olives for some reason.
Yeah.
So she sends it back. She's just like, I didn't order this. She stands up for herself. gets a new dish. Then she gets a check, and they charged her for both of them, right? So this is like hey, I ordered this, one way. You did it wrong. You brought out the good one. And they're like, we're going to charge you for both of them. And she's like, nah, please take this off my bill. And they're like, nah. So they left it on the bill. She pays for it. She's just like, I'm not dealing with this. So then, of course, she goes and leaves a review saying, I got double billed and they wouldn't work with me on this. Like, they messed up my order. They fixed it, but then they charged me for two. And then the owner gets on and she's like, can you take that review off? And she's like, no, because that's what happened. So I'm just leaving it on. So this woman, the restaurant owner, okay, Marisol, she then creates a fake email using this other lady's name, like where it's obvious. Like she puts this other lady's name in the email, okay? So then this lady, using the fake email, she starts emailing Mrs. Katz's employers. So she finds out where this lady works, finds her boss's emails, like on the website. She starts emailing from this fake email saying to the bosses of this company, saying that she's open to anything, couples, threesomes, group sex, and she's especially into transsexuals and transgendered people.
Okay.
So basically this lady is just sending horrible emails pretending to be someone else, right? For 2 years. The people know it's not, they're like, yeah, we know it's not our employee. Like, we know it's some crazy person. So for 2 years, these people, like the owners kept getting random emails of this lady. Like they know it's not, they know who it is. Like they figured out who it was.
Yeah.
And she just won't let it go. She just keeps emailing these horrible emails every once in a while whenever she feels like it. Gets on a little tiff. So after 2 years of that, she is finally, they're like, okay, we're pressing charges. So she actually gets convicted of libel, which is really hard to do. Like,
Yeah,
I've had a couple lawyers tell me it's really hard to actually get that conviction.
Yeah.
And so this lady is actually sentenced to 90 days in jail, the restaurant owner, and 2 hours of 200 hours, a little bit different, 200 hours community service. She also has to do mandatory counseling and anger management courses. So yeah, the anger management probably something she needs a lot after sending fake sex emails. But what do I know? I don't know.
Yeah, you're barely literate.
I know.
So,
Barely. Do you like bookstores, Sam?
love them, actually. Yeah.
I do. Like, what's your favorite part about, like, bookstores? Do you prefer new bookstores or used bookstores?
Well, they both have their utility for me.
Mm-hmm.
New bookstores, I go with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Used bookstores, I'm there to soak it in. And
Yeah.
I love the smell of a used bookstore. Love it all. Just
Mhm.
love it all.
Yeah, I love that old booky. I like to smell old books. I love old bookstores. I just was in one a little while ago and I bought one of my favorite books in hardback. So
Yeah.
I bought The Black House, which is the second book in the Talisman series. If you
Yes.
haven't read that,
No, it's so
really,
good.
it's one of the best pair of books you'll ever read.
The series,
Yeah, the
totally
series
worth
is.
it.
So yeah, I was able to get a copy of Black House hardcover, so add that to my own little collection. But Diane Goodman also loved bookstores, so much so that she owned one. So Ocean Avenue Books in San Francisco, owned by Diane Goodman. Apparently her store was a little bit messy, and according to one review, it was a complete disaster. Sean said it was a disaster.
Uh-huh.
So Sean visits and afterwards writes a Yelp review saying the place was, quote, cluttered with books piled everywhere and maybe they should close for a few days to clean up. What a horrible thing to say about someone, right? Like, hey, this place is a little cluttered. It could do with some organizing. Like, I think that to me is constructive criticism. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
that, like you can take that negatively if you want, but it's not that. Like, it's just basically someone's like, hey, it's a little disorganized, a little cluttered. How about we like clean it up a little bit? He didn't say it was like filthy and the books were falling apart. He literally just said it was cluttered. Reasonable feedback for a business. Diane sees the review and starts sending threatening messages, calling him all sorts of names and saying she's going to contact his employers. Like, she goes full care. Like, I'm going to tell your boss on you for saying I'm dirty and I need to clean my bookstore. So then it gets to the point she harasses this dude so much that Yelp cancels her profile.
Wow.
It escalates that far. So she starts another Yelp account and keeps on harassing.
Of course, she's not going to stop.
So when that one gets canceled, she still doesn't give up, and she takes things into the real world this time. We're not on Yelp anymore. She tracks down Sean's home address and knocks on his front door.
Dang.
He sees who's there, and he goes, "Leave my house." So then she tries to kick his door down. Like, she's not having any of this. So he, like, apparently opens the door to stop her from causing property damage, but just call the cops, everyone. Let them pay for let the perp pay for the property damage later. So ends up turning into a physical fight. They're like more of like a pushing and wrestling, like trying to get, like he's trying to push her off of him without hurting her and trying to restrain her without hurting her. They kind of fall down some steps. Someone calls the police, and this lady ends up getting, there's like where the cops just go, "You're crazy. We're taking you to the loony bin for the 72-hour hold or whatever."
Yeah, right.
So they do that to that
Referred.
person. Yeah. So she gets put away in the loony bin for, her 72-hour hold. And that's where it kind of, I don't think the guy ever pressed charges against her. I think he just felt more sorry for her and how crazy she was being. And so, yeah, she had to, maybe reevaluate her life. So, yeah. So here's another question. How often do you actually like read reviews before you go to like a new place, whether it's like a hotel? Do you actually read the reviews, or do you just look at like the star rating, or like how do you approach that situation?
I take reviews with a grain of salt. I have an interesting perspective on reviews, I think. I think any review is sparked by one of three things: ignorance or passion or self-interest. So you're either leaving a bad review to pump up a competitor, passion, because that's both positive and negative. Like I look at a lot of my reviews and like I laugh at the one that's like, now he just spends so much time on backstory and all the storytelling part of the podcast stuff. And I'm like, okay, so something must have changed in their mind, And so that can be positive and negative for passion. And then ignorance is probably the majority of keyboard warriors, which is usually not even attributed to the actual thing that's being reviewed.
Yeah.
You're too dumb to put it together. You didn't read the instructions. You broke something before you even knew it. You thought you were listening to Sword and Scale, but it was my show.
Oops.
You haven't been around at all, and you don't know who's at 11:59 and not anymore. Those kind of things. It's like,
yeah, and like you can always tell like when it's like a paragraph or more. I don't even read those because it's just someone who's probably a little too angry or a little like there's just too much went into it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And that person's probably mad. You can also read other reviews people have left. And so it's funny because you'll just go, like some people you literally go, every review they've ever left is always a 1-star. And they always have a complaint.
yeah,
And
yeah. You can
that's when you
Google
just go,
their username.
yeah. And you're just like, oh, you're just the Karen.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Or you can find where they are of like the self-interest one, where it's like they're critical of they go and crap on every show except for one. Like it's their fan favorite, that kind of thing. I also think that, like, I don't take advice from other people when it comes, like any creator who is like, just don't read them, man. Just don't read them. I mean, you're getting all worked up. I'm like, okay, one of two things is true. Either you are now well enough established or are one in a million, which is you're just doing this strictly out of the passion of your own soul and you don't care. You've never cared for feedback, which is 1 in a million people.
Yeah.
Or you have FU money now, and that's why you don't read them, which is okay, fine. Or you're a complete or you've never had reviews.
Yeah.
Because everybody that's ever come my way and is like, man, just don't read them. They end up getting into this career or something else where they get reviews, and then I watch them not get out of bed for a day. It's like, it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
On the outside looking in, it's always like, oh yeah, no, don't be petty. Oh man, why do you even care about what they think or whatever? And it's like, just wait. Just wait.
Because they're the ones who I'm trying to convince to pay my bills.
Yeah. That there really is something to that, you know, and it's all relative. It's all scalable too, you know?
Yeah. So yeah. It's just hard because it's like, there's a place in town, I'm not going to say it because they might sue me, but they have a really crappy restaurant, but all the reviews are really good. And it's because they actually do buy their reviews. Like, you can buy reviews. That's a real thing. So yeah, just look. You can tell when bots have been writing a bunch of stuff, but
weird thing happened to me a little while ago. I did a review on Yelp for a barbecue place in town. It's Dickie's Barbecue, which is a franchise. But the one in particular, this was just, I would say, on the tail end of COVID. Also on the tail end of like where everyone was like, menial labor should be paid $20 an hour, you know, kind of thing. And so all the businesses were like, well, if you're going to enforce that, then you're going to see it reflected in the stores. And so the Dickie's Barbecue I was at was being run by, there was not an adult in the building anywhere. Everyone was on their phone or not at the front. They were like in the back hanging out. And so while they're like in the back getting my order wrong for the third time, I'm just taking pictures of the floor on the other side of the counter where there was like shredded meat just piled in a corner and like all the stuff, right? So I do a review, you know, and I'm like, this is disgusting. Whoever's the owner of this franchise should really know what your brain dead children that you have running the place are doing. And I got a response before it showed up, and it was like, Yelp is awaiting a review of your review. And I was like, who's reviewing my review? What are you giving it to Dickie's Barb? It's almost like Yelp has a flag that's like, if a place starts getting a lot of bad reviews, then we're going to slow it down. And I'm like, what? That's not, you know, what's democratic about that? It's weird.
So yeah. So Kathleen Hale, she also wishes reviews didn't exist. She wouldn't have read her reviews. And she was one of those people that said, don't read your reviews. Because all of her reviews sucked.
Yeah.
So she wrote a novel called No One Else Can Have You. And a book blogger named Blythe Harris absolutely hated the book. She hated it. Blythe called it one of the worst books I've read this year. That's a quote. And said, another quote is that the execution was horrible and honestly non-existent. So instead of maybe taking the criticism and applying it or moving on, I mean, that's kind of harsh criticism, but Kathleen Hale becomes completely obsessed with Blythe Harris. And so she starts stalking Blythe's Instagram and Twitter accounts. This is back when it was still called Twitter. Spending weeks going through all of Blythe's profiles and following conversations that she's having about the book that she reviewed. You know, this is actually Kathleen's book. So she's going and reading everything that Blythe's writing about it. She then figures out that Blythe Harris is not a real name. That's her internet name. So this lady pays for an online background check and discovers Blythe's real name and where she lives.
Ooh, yeah.
So now this disgruntled author has a reviewer's address, real name, everything. So she rents a car and drives to Blythe's house. She also calls the woman's workplace multiple times, Blythe's workplace, pretending to be a, quote, fact checker, end quote. Whatever, that's all she said she was. Yeah, I'm a fact checker. For who? I'm a fact checker. What is that? I'm a fact checker.
I like fact checkers. Fact checkers are fun to me. It's like the way fact checking works in most places. It's like, okay, so we're going to do fact checking for Ford. Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay, so who are you hiring? They're all Chevy guys.
Yeah.
That's literally what we're going to fact check this religion. Who's doing it? Another religion.
Another religion.
Who's fact checking conservatives?
Oh man. So yeah, this
Bots.
lady. So yeah, and nothing other. The cops were called, and it was kind of it was kind of one of those like everyone went their separate ways afterwards. But like, just imagine renting a car to go out and meet someone who left a review.
The other,
Just imagine that, reviewers. That someone just shows up in a car outside your house after you leave a bad review.
have you ever had a listener show up or talk to you personally?
Yeah. No, not show up to my house. No.
I had a weird interaction. It was at one of our conventions, and this lady rolls up and she was like, all right, okay. And she like takes a chair and sits down like she's been preparing this. And then she's like, I need to talk to you about so-and-so. And it was the guy that wrote that movie, the book, I think, and it became a movie. Jim Caviezel was in it. It was about sex trafficking. It was like Sound of Freedom.
The Ballard guy.
Ballard, right?
Yeah.
So he's LDS, right? And she pulls up a chair and she prefaces it with, I need to know whether or not I can continue to listen to you. We need to talk about Ballard. And
That's one.
like
The easiest thing is go. I'm gonna make it easy for you. Don't listen to me. Bye.
I was like, what's happening right now? So another Mormon, does a thing, and you're determining whether or not you listen to my podcast anymore because you need to know my take on another Mormon's actions. Like, when does that play out for Catholics? Like, when
I was about to say, like, how come it's like, we have like the Inquisition happen and still Catholics are cool, I guess.
when do you go to Nancy Grace and you're like, okay, Nancy, now recently the Pope, it's just, I was like, but she like bought a ticket. She comes to the thing, right? She sits, like, gets a chair, sits down. So I have to entertain this. I can't be, that's the other maddening thing about this is like, you can't be short. Otherwise they're like, oh, petty much?
Or you can't just go, hey, crazy person,
Yeah,
leave me alone. Because then
Yeah.
everyone else is just like, then you have to explain to everyone else, oh no, it's not me. Like, this lady's actually crazy.
Look how this guy treats his fans,
Yeah.
I love those gotcha moments.
Ugh.
Really.
So here's another fun one. Have you ever owned like a hotel motel situation?
Have I ever owned a hotel?
Yeah, or motel.
No. I'm in a 6x9 box doing a podcast.
So you're not going to really relate to this, but Andrew Sakali owned the Abbey Inn in southern Indiana, and it sounds like this place was not a luxury resort. Katrina Arthur and her husband booked a weekend getaway there. They were passing through. When they arrived, their room reeked of sewer. Also, the air conditioning didn't work. The water pressure was horrible, and the bed sheets were covered in hair and dirt. Would you stay there?
No, but
So let's just assume that what she's saying is absolute truth, right? She's not over-exaggerating anything. I wouldn't stay there. I would sleep in my car. So
yeah.
when Katrina and her husband tried to complain about the state of their room, there was literally no employees anywhere. Not the owner, not any employees. It was like a ghost town. The only other people there were other people staying at the hotel. That's all they could find. They looked around for a long time. Nobody was there. So Katrina and her husband are like, well, we need to sleep somewhere. So they literally clean the room up as best as they can and just try to make it work. Later, and everyone's gotten these before, you've gotten an email that basically goes, hey, can you review us? Can you review us? So they get a, can you review us from the hotel? And she writes an honest, she's just like, rooms were dirty. We couldn't even find anyone to talk about it. So she just writes what happened. A month later, she gets a letter from the owner of the hotel, Mr. Sakali, threatening to sue her for libel unless she removes her review from the interwebs. She's like, you know what? This isn't worth my time and my headache. So just to avoid all future interactions with you, she does. She's just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. Like, the easiest way is to just end it. Deletes. So she goes and deletes it. Then later, she looks at her bank statement and she discovers there's an extra charge from that hotel that showed up after the fact, right? So, how they say, oh, we're putting your card on file so that they can maybe charge you for incidentals, damages, that kind of stuff, right? Most hotels need a credit card or a debit card on file. They put a hold on it, all that stuff. So this hotel actually had a written policy where they would charge customers money for leaving negative reviews.
I don't think you can do that.
You can't do that. They thought that because they wrote it down in the fine print that it was a legally binding contract.
Yeah, no.
So they thought they were doing it legally. So negative review, $350 charge for quote unquote damages. So this literally, somebody like after that charge happened, this lady's like, okay, I can't let this go. So she gets a hold of the attorney general for Indiana, the office, and eventually they talk back to her and they go then to the, the inn and they say, that's illegal, sir. And they made him stop doing that because it was illegal. So that was a little bit of justice on the reviewer's side this time. So we hate
Did you
that.
know? So this is a fun fact to know and share. Very important. I think it's a lot of people don't take advantage of this, and they could. If you ever run into something like that, if you ever encounter a situation where a business has done something where they're like, oh, it's in our fine print, sorry.
Mhm.
And you're like, how many people have been screwed over by this? Or something, and you're working with a brick and mortar, some business in your town or state or whatever. Go Google Consumer Protection Agency. And there's a Consumer Protection Bureau wing office in each of your cities or states at least. And they're all about this stuff. They're all about it. And sometimes they're like, yeah, we know about it. We're on it. Or sometimes they're like, really, what? Tell us more. And you can make reports. Think of it like the Better Business Bureau plus cops. Like it's they're gonna do stuff.
Yeah.
If
they actually have the teeth to do something.
Yes, because the last thing a state wants to be known as is a haven for corruption and oh wait. But I digress. Yes, so check it out. Like go do that. Like if you ever feel like you got ripped off. Also, another thing that's very useful is Yelp's one thing, but if a company or business registers with the Better Business Bureau, you want to see them respond fast. Review them on the Better Business Bureau website. And I've had companies like respond that day. They're like, how can we make this better? Obviously, they're doing it all so you'll remove your review.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for corrective justice and then you're okay removing your review, use it. BBB, your Consumer Protection Agency office in your city or state.
And if you wonder why, someone whose business name keeps changing over and over, but they're doing the same stuff, like the same business, that's part of the reason why they're trying to avoid all of their bad reviews on the Better Business Bureau.
Yeah.
They're trying to avoid stuff going on with the government, like the Customer Protection Agency. So yeah, watch for businesses that are constantly changing their name. They're
in the
running
back
from
door.
bad reviews.
Or Marissa says, anytime I hear go do or am suggested to do something, I involuntarily respond with, I will not. So Marissa, never check out the Consumer Protection Bureau in your state. Don't ever do it. Actually, do not do that right now.
Also, Google oppositional defiance disorder.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn a lot about yourself.
There's a picture of me, I think, if you look up OD.
So last revenge story, okay? We're going to Taiwan for this one because it's fun. There's a man, and these are their names. I'm not being a dick. Yang is the owner of the restaurant. That is his name, is Yang. Okay? So, food blogger Liu visits Yang's place, orders dried beef noodles and some sides, and isn't impressed at all. So Liu then writes an article saying the food was too salty, the place had cockroaches, and Yang was a bully who let customers park badly and cause traffic jams. Because that's her problem. Code enforcement of traffic. So Yang's customers start asking about this article they saw, because this is a food blogger wrote it, right? Like a pretty pretty famous food blogger. And Yang sues Liu for libel. The courts rule in Yang's favor. Why do you think they ruled in Yang's favor, if you had to guess? Like, you don't know. I haven't given you... This isn't a trick question. This is just you pontificating for us.
Yang is the reviewer, right?
So Yang's the restaurant owner, and Liu is the reviewer.
And they sided in favor of Yang.
Of the restaurant owner, Yang.
Yes. I'm going to go off and say they sided with him because it turns out the review was claimed to be a side of the beef. And in fact, it was, I can't believe it's not beef. So technically the review wasn't legit.
Technically, you are technically right.
Sweet.
So the courts ruled in Yang's favor. Get this. They said that Liu was wrong to call the food salty because she had only tried one meal and wasn't familiar enough with the menu to make that an official judgment.
Oh, because so the restaurant was like, you think that's salty?
Yeah. So basically, like, yeah, and they're like, we have other dishes that are saltier, and you haven't tried enough of our food to say that it's all salty or not. Sorry. So, but the court did find that her complaint about the cockroaches was real.
Okay, well, I would hope so.
So, we're going to throw out your claim because the food, technically, you don't know if it's salty or not. Yes, there were cockroaches everywhere when we went and checked on this, but that's beside the point, right? So Liu, the reviewer, right? She got sentenced to 30 days in jail, 2 years of probation, and had to pay 200,000 new Taiwan dollars in compensation. No idea how much that is in U.S. dollars.
Because of her bad review.
Because of her bad review. She literally went to jail for calling a restaurant too salty.
Wow.
So
sounds like the UK.
It sounds like the UK, but it's just Taiwan. So, like, this all makes you wonder what people would do if they got actual really bad news. Like, if their cable bill went up or they ran out of their favorite cereal. Like, if they learned that, these reviewers, like, or these business owners, I wonder what they would have done then.
I've heard.
Like, do they declare war on the cable companies? Do they storm grocery stores with medieval weapons? I don't know. But the internet has made it easier than ever to leave reviews. But it's also made it easier for every unhinged person to track down their critics and ruin their lives, or at least attempt to. Yeah. Like, imagine if I was a psycho. Like, when I showed up to your house. Yeah. Imagine if I was a psycho.
Well, that's all you have to do is watch a couple, like, just Google, like, book signing, or like signatures at Comic-Con, and just watch one of those videos for a little bit and look at the people that are getting things signed, and you'll be like, yeah, it's a risk.
Yeah.
There's some risk involved with this.
So yeah. So to anyone who's wanting to get into business, just know you're going to get bad reviews. But it does not mean that you're allowed to track down that person, follow them to their house, and do anything other than just say, I didn't like what you did, 1 star. Just leave it at that, and then just leave it, and then everyone walks away. That's what I brought today, just some cool revenge stories.
I liked it.
Just some cool revenge stories that I want to
I'm curious if there's
Just kidding.
I'm curious if there's a list of, like, the Keanu Reeves of companies out there. Like, no one dislikes the company. Like, all their reviews, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if there are legit Keanu Reeves, Bob Rosses, or it's like Fred Rogers, where it's like, yeah, no, everyone loves this company, excluding, like, things in North Korea, because, we know things get weird.
It's compelled liking. I'm trying to think, because even all the companies are coming to my head, I'm like, no, some people hate them.
Yeah.
Just because of how the hater is a stupid idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even think of really the list of people that are on that list, like, the Keanu Reeves and Bob Rosses and
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. The list is very short. Jim
Oh, sorry, I'm just-
Henson.
yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because, like, if you think about the people that are on the list, it's I wanted to say most of them were safe. You know, like Bob Ross was known exclusively for his, you know, painting, like the TV show and everything. I don't know that there's a lot of Bob Ross opining about, you know, Jimmy Carter's gas prices
Yeah.
back then. You know, so he kind of stayed in the pocket.
Mhm.
But Keanu Reeves, you know, he's had a diversity of opinions, and you know,
Mhm.
he's kind of been out there. Mr. Rogers was front and center from some controversy that he
Yeah.
put on his own show back in the day. Like during the civil rights movement, he had the mailman
Mhm.
who was black on the show and like did things that today we'd be like, wow, that's crazy that public opinion was such that this would have seemed controversial. But like, I think they like washed their feet together or something like that. Like, or they were in a
Yeah.
pool like together. Like,
Yeah, and then what a lot of people didn't know too is that the guy who played Officer Clemens, who was black,
Yeah.
he was also gay in real life.
oh, that's who it was, not the mailman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Clemens.
Officer Clemens.
Really?
Yep, he was gay in real life.
Yeah. See, there's good old Fred Rogers just showing us how to live.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, though, you Fred, no one would be, well, I'd say that. And then you got Keanu Reeves, you got a couple people out there where it's like, no, everybody loves him.
Yeah, I think one of the hard ones for me is like, I'll be like, oh, this company does good. And I'm like, oh, wait, people hate them politically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, I can't say anything bad they've done other than they might not like me because of what I like. And that's what it boils down to. A lot of politics is people projecting, right? Saying, oh, they wouldn't like me if they ever met me. Like, how many times has people like not saying that, but it's just like, oh, they wouldn't like me. Oh, because of how I'm. Oh, they wouldn't like me because of their politics and blah blah blah. And then you meet them in real life, and you're like, oh, they were actually a good person, and maybe I was not.
I'd say that's almost 99% of the time would be get to know them, and you know, you realize most people are human. That it's a challenge for companies because, especially publicly traded companies, everything they do is out in the open. Like you can go and find all the political donations from a company and size up a company based on whether or not you're in line. I mean, it's happened to me, right? I mean, we had people that publicly stated they're stopping support on Patreon because they just realized I pay my tithing with some of that money, and they couldn't stand the thought of me paying my tithing with the revenue I get from.
Now I'm gonna give you some money through Patreon. I'm gonna give you, after they take their cut, I'm gonna give you, it's $3.72. Now here's what you're gonna spend it on.
Subtract just the craziness of trying to dictate what somebody else spends their own earned money on. How hateful. Like, what's really like you woke up and thought you'd say that publicly. Yeah. That's a bold move.
I'm sending this to you, Sam, Mr. Mormon, but you have to buy Pabst Blue Ribbon beers with it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to take it back and leave you a 1-star review.
So weird. So weird.
Yeah, people are crazy. What did you bring today, though?
I brought a smattering. Of things. My brain went a couple different places, and so I'm going to kind of pick and choose. I've got 2 things that I wanted to bring. Some weird facts and info about some food-related stuff. But then my brain also went another place, and I was like, I wonder if like famous writers ever had weird jobs. And then I thought, yeah, probably most of them, because actors, writers, you're not instantly famous. And even when I'm always interested in those stories of like, it's how far into a celebrity's acting career, for example, or a writer's writing career, were they still slogging some 9 to 5 because we all thought that they were doing well, but their like contract was crap or whatever, and we didn't know they weren't like driving, Maybachs around or whatever.
Well, it's just like I know, like because I've read the Stephen King's On Writing book, and he tells about a lot of his jobs he's had and what stories were heavily influenced by those jobs, right? So like Carrie was literally because he was training as a janitor at a high school, and they, after hours cleaning the women's locker room it was his first time, and the janitor's like, oh, this is where the sanitary napkins go, and he's like, what? Because it was just him and his brother, and so he didn't really know like a lot about menstrual cycles and stuff. His mom never really told him, and so then the guide starts telling him, oh yeah, these are sanitary napkins, you got to check here, and that's literally, then all of a sudden he goes, what if a girl had her first period and she didn't like know what was going on? Like it just happened and she had no idea. And that's where like literal the idea of Carrie came from.
Oh, interesting.
Like his that was his first book that he sold, right? And so he also worked like industrial laundry, like where people die and messing with machines, like some of those big machines, the presses and stuff. And I know Dean Koontz he was like in his late 20s, early 30s or something, like stocking shelves at a grocery store at 1 a.m. Like that was his job.
Yeah.
Was going in from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. So sorry to take your win.
Well,
but
that's what I brought everybody. Soup.
I ADHD'd
I was just telling Chase this earlier before. I was like, he should be doing genealogy. He should be a professional because his ability to go, yeah, my nephew's cousin's sister's uncle, surprisingly,
related
guess
to anyone
what about
this
him?
time.
You'll never guess what my neighbor's brother's father-in-law's great-grandfather.
These are all people I didn't even know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I brought a smattering, so I'm just kind of bounce back and forth like in true ADHD style between things that I think are interesting. So, Herman Melville wrote Moby Dick, and when you're hitting that hard as a writer, you just we all presume you are just probably born doing that. But he actually spent a large portion of his life as a U.S. Customs inspector. And if you've ever been to TSA or through TSA, that's the job. Like, it's like, all right, put your bag up here. All right, do you have any bombs, weapons, anything that stinks? You have more lotion than you're supposed to, that's that job.
And no matter what you do with your laptop, they'll tell you you're wrong. If you leave it in, you should have taken it out. If you take it out, you should have left it in, no matter what.
Oh, your shoes are supposed to be in your pocket, sir. And stand inside this machine so we can get a good scan of your junk.
That we're going to touch anyways.
Yeah. So he was a U.S. Customs inspector, wrote Moby Dick, and looked in a lot of luggage. You ever read the book or seen the movie Beloved?
I haven't.
It's good. Put that on your list of movies to watch
right now.
Yeah, it's what would I put it in the category of? It's creepy. It's there's a movie, I don't know why I put these in.
Is it the one with Danny Glover?
Yeah.
Okay, I like Danny Glover.
Yeah. So check it out. It's been a while since I've watched it, and I don't know why I associate it with this, but there's another movie called Skeleton Key. And maybe it's because they both kind of take place in the same swampy areas and stuff, but it's good. Watch Beloved. Anyway, the author of Beloved, Toni Morrison, this seems like cheating in a way, was an editor at Random House. Like, I'm like, well, okay. All right. I can see how you got.
He's like,
It's
like
kinda
this
like, I
part
believe-
of this story, this part of this story.
Yeah. I believe Edison worked in the U.S. Patent Office.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, that's how he stole all the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, other ones that you would have known. It's interesting when you start looking at books and you're like, oh man, I know that book, or I've read that book, but you forgot like the name of the author, like Catch-22. It's a classic. Written by Joseph Heller. Didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
In his spare time, apparently, when he wasn't writing Catch-22 and other bangers, he was a blacksmith.
Nice.
James Joyce goes down in history as, a prolific author, wrote Ulysses and A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, other books like The Dubliners. He worked in the movie theaters. Let's get into something you'd probably know. Jack Kerouac
Mhm.
was a dishwasher.
Hmm.
Walt Whitman, he was a government clerk, just a bean counter. Let me see if there's any on here that T.S. Eliot, just a banker.
Mhm.
He was an employee at Lloyd's Bank before he was a huge author. This one seems fitting for me. I don't know why. Author of Metamorphosis, Franz Kafka. If you've never read Metamorphosis and you want me to introduce you to the ultimate weird, book starts out like this. One day I woke up and I was a cockroach. And the rest gets weirder. So check out that book, Franz Kafka, Metamorphosis. He was an insurance agent. And I kind of feel like I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Agatha Christie. This is interesting because this is like a full-blown, like in my mind, it's like you committed to this career.
Mhm.
Agatha Christie, before being well known for Murder on the Orient Express and other amazing mysteries, she was a pharmacist, and I think that's wild.
Mhm.
To Kill a Mockingbird is one of those books where I'm like, Harper Lee was born writing, I believe. But
Mhm.
no. Airline ticketing agent. And I'm just like, what? All right, let me give you some food facts because my brain went both places. So I'll give you some of these. I'm going to give you an amount in pints of this product, and you tell me what you think that amount is attributed to. It's 195,000 of Guinness. This is an estimate.
How much
What do you think
Andre
that's
the Giant
attributed
could
to?
drink?
What's that?
How much Andre the Giant could drink?
1,418 pints of Guinness are wasted in facial hair each year, they believe.
If I
And
drank
then
Guinness,
after
I'd
I
be
say
part of
that,
the
I'm like,
problem.
how would you know that?
You don't.
You can't.
It's all about stats. Like, that's the thing, is it's all about taking statistics, but then statistics can be fudged and forced and pushed and manipulated, and yeah.
It's like the old quote, there's facts, damn facts, and statistics.
And then there's this knowledge floating around in Chase's head.
Yeah. Let's see. In Tudor times, courtiers. So the people just like hung out in the castle,
The cool people.
sitting around. They were served a menu daily of dishes containing around 5,000 calories a day.
How are they not all just like walking rolling blimps?
I think that's why they never left.
Yeah.
That's some food. That's some serious food. They either didn't leave because they're like, I can't eat this well anywhere else, or they literally couldn't move out
Yeah, they
of the
couldn't
building.
leave.
In 2017, a carrot weighing 22.44 pounds, grown by Christopher Qualley of Minnesota, USA, was named as the heaviest carrot of all time. And I will tell you, that right there is the curious nugget that sent my brain to find this list. I was like, what is the heaviest carrot? That was my query the other night. That's
Whoa.
so.
Looks like I just had an earthquake on my side.
A tot was a daily ration. A tot was a daily ration of rum given to sailors on Royal Navy ships. It was abolished in 1970 over concerns that the intake of strong alcohol would lead to accidents when sailors worked with machinery.
Oops.
You don't say.
I mean,
That's
it does
funny.
say do not operate heavy machinery, I guess.
Yeah. Pate, which we all know is like for rich people, probably more than not rich people. Pate was originally developed as a way of preserving the meat or game that they just couldn't keep fresh. So it's garbage meat. Pate is like the hot dog of rich people food.
Well, it's just like, it's weird how like poor people food always turns into rich people food and the prices always follow.
Yeah.
Like, think about back in the day, you couldn't give bacon away. Like,
Right.
you literally couldn't give that crap away. And now it's like a half pound of bacon's like $20. Same thing with like brisket. Like, you used to be able to buy, like, that's why people cooked brisket and smoked brisket, because it was cheap. Like,
Yeah.
it was a super cheap cut of meat. But now it's like, you want to buy a brisket, it's like $120.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
so like
crazy.
all the poor people food for some reason becomes rich people food. It's weird.
Or pig food. Like the
Yeah.
truffle, which is notoriously identified by putting pigs out there to hunt for them.
Mm-hmm.
Truffles, the white truffle in particularly, trades for up to $3,000 for about 2.2 pounds.
A case.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
This one's fun. I'm hoping I'm feeding your brain with what I like to call barbecue knowledge, which is the next time you have a barbecue, one of these bits and nuggets of knowledge will be like, come to your forefront. You'll be like, you know what? Did you know? And then you'll be the life of the party. Here's
Yeah.
one for you that
I did that and you made fun of me. Now everyone knows where Carrie came from. Just everyone knows, okay?
yeah. Here's one for barbecue knowledge. 100-year-old Cadbury chocolate bar that had been on Captain Robert Scott's first expedition to the Antarctic. So that was like 1901. Sold for $687 at Christie's auction house in London on the 25th of September, 2001.
You know that thing's just straight chalk at this point.
Yeah. I didn't know this. Alcoholic drinks often go through a filtration process during manufacture. This can include the use of animal products, such as isinglass, which is also better known as fish bladder, gelatin, egg white, or milk protein. So that's interesting. What I'd like to know, like, I always think about those kinds of things, and I like to think of how they found that out. Like, how are you drinking alcohol? You're like, you know what? I'll bet you money if you put this through a fish bladder, it would be more filtered, buddy. Give it a shot.
It would make me drunker. Even.
Jerry, get me a fish bladder. You know, that's weird. In the Stone Age, people often ate caterpillars. The average caterpillar contains, this is interesting, if you're pounding those protein drinks, go get a caterpillar. They have 53 grams of protein.
Now you just ended the caterpillar. It's going to be endangered and extinct now from all the bros.
All the gym bros out next to the truffle hunting pigs, they're out there getting caterpillars. In 2019, a synthetic alcohol named Alcarel, this is 2019, Alcarel was invented, and it was announced by Professor David Nutt, who said it would not produce hangovers. It'd get you drunk, but it wouldn't give you a hangover. That's the first I've heard of it, and which probably tells us probably didn't work. But then again, I don't do a lot of drinking.
I just Googled it. Says potential market availability 2026.
Okay, well, it's taken a little while, but it's about to hit the market, people.
Also, no organ damage or toxicity. So that's a plus.
I'm going to go out on a limb and just say no, not possible. But we'll see. 2028. If it's anything like vapes, it'll only take a couple years for us to figure out whether or not the claims are true.
Well, David Nutt, the creator, needs to just get on that. Really help out a lot of people.
Here's the last one I'll give you. Competitive eater Leah Schuttkever once consumed an entire burrito in just 35.26 seconds. Now, that needs video proof, because I could pound a microwave burrito in 35 seconds. I'm guessing this is probably at a competition, and it was
Dude, I just
very big
Googled this
burrito.
lady. So she's a competitive eater, right?
Okay.
Dude, she's got abs, bro.
A lot of those competitive eaters are quite svelte, and I think a lot of that has to do with the way they eat. Like they're not letting their body metabolize 87 hot dogs, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
I got a couple more for you. I don't want to leave us on a bad statistical anomaly of because we all are like, yeah, but he left us with how big is the burrito? So the world's oldest champagne was discovered in a shipwreck in the Baltic Sea in 2010. It dated back to the 18th century. Before the French Revolution, the champagne was still drinkable and fizzy, with an apparently sweet and oaky taste. That's interesting.
A sweet and oaky afterbirth.
Interesting. Makes me think, like, whenever you find stuff like that, it seems like it must have been in a really deoxygenated part of the ocean, because that's not common, you know?
Yeah.
Wine
I know
bottles.
I'm pretty sure there are parts of the ocean that like have almost no oxygen in them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
well,
so,
there's whole seas that are like that.
Yeah, where it's and like, have you seen where like those two waters come together and you can actually see them?
Yeah.
Like you can see there's like a line where
Temperature and
they don't mix.
salination are totally
Yeah.
different. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and there's like no oxygen. Like there's no fish anywhere near.
There's
It's like
those,
a lot of those deep level places. The fish have to stay by certain vents in order
Yeah.
to just be able to breathe.
there's pools underneath the ocean on the bottom, the seafloor, where hypersalination or other chemicals will pool on the bottom, and it looks like a beach on the bottom of the ocean. And if a crab or any animal goes into it, they die instantly. It's pretty wild.
Can you imagine like if that was how it was in air? I mean, there are places like that. Like there's caves where you go in that cave,
Yeah.
and there's no air. You're still breathing in gas, but there's no oxygen in it, and you die. Like
Yeah.
there's the famous video of the dude with the torch. Have you seen
The
that?
torch. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
and it just
say.
completely goes out. Like just like it's like looks like he put it in water, but it's just torch is dead.
Yeah. And caves are creepy that way. Like there's a reason for canaries in the coal mine, because the canary dies so quick that you would know, okay, no, we can't go that way. But yeah, caves are wild. Not only like lack of light and everything, but it's sort of like a Earth's pharmacy for elements. It's like, you want pure danger death gas? Here, let me give it to you in this little pocket. Take a left.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, I'll leave you with one more. This one's short. Manufactured meat spam. That's how they say it too. Manufactured meat spam, which became popular in the 90s, got its name by combining spice and ham. Spam.
I love spam, dude. I love spam. I'm not embarrassed to say it.
I'm having a bit of a moment where I'm realizing the lists of things that my brain finds interesting at 2:30 a.m. sometimes aren't fully podcast worthy. Like I have a very long list of authors and their careers, which I am very interested in. But as I censored the list because I was like, nobody knows. No one knows who Octavia Butler is. Nobody cares.
What about William Faulkner?
Well, I know who William Faulkner is.
Yeah, he was like, I want to say he worked at a post office.
He was a postmaster briefly in Mississippi. He's on my list.
But he sucked at it.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah.
See? I mean, there's really interesting stories behind this. Like Octavia Butler, she wrote Kindred, Parable of the Sower. She was a potato chip quality control expert. Like, I like that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe other people care about that kind of stuff. I'll give you one more. Anthony Trollope wrote The Way We Live Now, also the Chronicles of Barsetshire series. or the Barchester Towers, right?
Mhm.
He was a postal worker. I feel like post office jobs and writers go hand in hand. There are a lot of writers on this list that were post office workers.
Do I look like Anthony Trollope? I just Googled him.
Let me look. You look like Henry VIII if you've seen my latest Neverdaily cover art. Anthony Trollope. No, he looks like he's 88 and he looks like a Soviet era.
All I have to do is just shave my head.
No, no, not at all.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I'm telling you now. That's a big no.
Okay.
On that note, we're going to leave you. And I'll come up with better lists next time and we'll be back. So,
Check out if you've ever left us a bad review, just look outside your window. And we might be there.
we might be there ready to take you out with a bottle of wine
Yeah.
from the ocean floor.
We're there to throw soup cans at you.
We'll tell you a fun fact about a bottle of wine and then hit you with it.
And then hit you over the head with it in the cereal aisle. So just know we're there and we're watching.
We're always watching.
Maybe.
Soup, everybody. Soup.
Bye. Bye.